Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Nathaniel Campson Productions here today, and welcome back to Dotty's Rest, the narrow gauge layout. Although, this looks very different from the last time you saw it. This is what it looked like last time you saw it, and now it obviously looks like this. Significant progress. But if we take a look at this end of the layout, you can see it's a bit of a mess. So initially, this end was sort of looking a little bit more like this end. We can see hills and stuff over there, bit of groundwork over here, some nice brown paint. All the track has been sort of roughly pre-weathered, quite badly in this case, in this area. It's just some rust colour paint. So, what am I doing, and why am I doing it? Well, as you can see, there's a lot of straight track on this side of the layout. In fact, from this bridge here to the tunnel, just down the end there, next to the old mine entrance, there is a total of 6 feet of straight track, which, on a narrow gauge sort of layout, looks kind of stupid. If we look over the back of the layout, in my handy dandy little mirror, you can see that there are, a lot of trains, but also this track here has a nice curve as it goes through. I like that. I quite like watching the trains, especially the freight trains, go round that curve. I quite like it. So, I'm changing the track plan on this board here to put a couple of curves in. This end, as you can see, is being ballasted. There's basically nothing I can do with that. I can't really put a curve in anywhere on this bit here. And I've got the baseboard joints here. If we get a zoom in on that. The, what are they? Model Tech Pro Track rail aligners, I think they're called, on both sides. You can see there they are. So there could be no curve in this middle part of the track here. There could nothing. It can't be, because these wouldn't line up properly, because they're straight. They're not, you know, the aligners aren't curved. The aligners are straight, so they need to go straight across the board joints, same as they are over the back. Ta-da! With my shadow. I'm changing the track plan. If I put these paper templates roughly in place, you can see that is what the new alignment will look like. 2 Y turnouts in a similar configuration to what's already here with this crossover type junction, but because they are curved points, they add, well, they're not curved, sorry, they're Y points, but they are curved. If we get down this angle here, you can see that they are curved, they are angled, and then it's not like this one, just a straight and then a turn right. They're a turn right or a turn left. There's no straight. So this track here, from probably somewhere here, you can see I've got this road crossing roughly marked out, will sort of gently curve in to this point here. And then this piece of main running line here will be realigned and curve gently in. It's like a reverse S-curve to this point here. These 2 sidings and this point obviously need to shift over this way, and I'll also switch these round. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a nice gentle curve on these sidings and have them roughly the same length. I don't know if I can actually do that. I'll just have to play around and see. But as you can see, I've marked here where I need to, or I want to, cut this sort of hillside away with a Dremel tool, because there's wire mesh underneath this plaster cloth. So I'll rip this out from this line here, all of this, rip it out. And yeah, I'm hoping that that's going to be enough to make the running of the trains look a bit better, because they run fine. It's just very obvious that it's, you know, too much straight track. So there'll be a curve from about here somewhere to this junction here, and then another reverse curve coming across, something like that, so it fits under that bridge. it's going to stay looking like this until I can actually buy the stuff to do it. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so there we go. That was relatively uneventful. I had intended to use the Dremel for that, but I had to use scissors and a chisel because for whatever reason, the Dremel, the attachment on the end of it, decided it was going to explode. So I'll put that clip here. It's going to be very noisy, but we can get on with it now. And theoretically, now I should be able to take the track up as well. I'm just wondering how I'm going to be doing that, because I know that I'm going to need to cut the wiring and stuff underneath and rewire all the point motors and stuff anyway. Right, okay, there we go. So let's start by just popping these buffers off, put those to one side. Yeah, start from this end. Now I can't remember, so I did use glue, yeah there we go, whoops, on some of this track, so it looks like I'm gonna have to, it shouldn't be too difficult to get up. Snip that power wire and that one. Well, hey, look at that. No track pins, just glue. That's how I laid some of this layout anyway. Now this point is going to be reused, so I need this one to come out intact. And of course there is the frog wire. Now then, that's interesting, yes. I'm going to need to keep the frog wire on it, aren't I? Because I'm going to be reusing this one. Okay. Forgot on that. I'll redo all the cork. Relay it all anyway. So I might need to flip this layout upside down. Oops. To get this out. Kind of depends. So is that out of the... Oh, it is. So, theoretically, I can just sort of pop that out. And I know it's got power cables on there as well. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to... The frog ones come loose, so I must have zip tied these ones down. Can you see that? Oh, you can, kind of. I'll crop in on everything so you can see what I'm talking about. Can I get this piece out? Well, I'm going to need to relay it. So what I might as well do is that, because now this piece of track will come up just like so. Looks like I need to give it a wiggle under there where the power wires go. So I'm probably going to end up replacing the power wires entirely on the track. There we go, look at that. That's easy. Now both these points here, so these ones I'm not going to be using again on this layout. If I can get this There we go, track pin out. Pull my t-shirt down. Don't think there's any more. Nope. Right, there should be one there as well. There we go. Theoretically, that should be it. I should just have to cut the wires underneath. Oh, that's pinned here as well. Get that out. There we are. I'm just going to move my microphone down a little bit. Right. Okay. That wire, that wire, that wire. Hey! Lovely. Right, so this little bit of track is going to stay where it is. So I need to be very careful that I don't damage it. Hey, that were easy. I went Yorkshire then, I don't know why. Oh, my heck, that were easy, weren't it, lad? Wonderful. So, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to move this point motor, and it looks like I won't have to, which is good. So that's going to be what the new junction looks like. You've seen all this before in previous clips. So I now need to realign basically everything. So let's tear up the cork. Now, can I actually curve this? Oh, I can. Actually curves really easily. Which is odd considering that it's soldered at the end here. I can actually sort of curve that in. Now obviously the rail is going to move up this sort of way, but I'm glad that I can move that. So I'm just going to cut the cork where this hole is, where the old frog cable went through for the points, because I don't necessarily know where it's going to land just yet. So I can't really put the cork down until I've sort of roughly laid the track in place. Oops. This will be slightly sketchy. Please avert your eyes if you are of a nervous disposition. Something fell off. What was that? Oh. 2 tiny wagons. Why didn't you tell me, guys? You saw that. Why didn't you tell me they'd fell off? Huh? Oh, God, you guys are so rude. Right, I can actually look at the camera. It's still pointing down the other end of the layout, but that's okay. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Got the support beams under there. Come on. Walk out a bit more. Stop getting stuck on things. There we go. About there somewhere will do. Alright, so here's the underside of the layout. Good fun, huh? So looking at this absolute abstract horror down here, I don't think I'm going to film moving all these points because it's going to be a nightmare. So all of these ones need to move. These can basically stay where they are as long as they're not in the way. Oh God, it's a mess under here. Look at this. It's my mess, but still. Right, at least I can show you taking these out now. There we go. So that's the layout boards now isolated electrically. And that got a bit mangled up, didn't it? Good grief. Good Lord. Okay, right. Time to turn the camera off and get stuck in on this. Okay, so the postman has now arrived. I've carried out some work at the back of the layout on the other side. I had a couple of decoders that were being a little bit odd, so I decided that I would sort of, you know, just get that work done. And now I am sort of, I wouldn't say laying the track, because I'm not. I'm just gonna sort of roughly get it in shape, or get it in position, sorry, so that I can plan out where I need the cork and stuff to lay. And I'm just putting on some rail joiners, plastic rail joiners. Now this is a problem that I've been having with all of the Pico narrow gauge track. They don't go on properly on set of points. There we go. I don't know why. I don't know if the camera will be able to get close enough to focus on this, but we'll try. If I hold it here, I think that's focused. You can see I've put just here 2 plastic rail joiners on the frog, which is what you need to do on both frog rails, on all bits of an electro frog point. Oops, that was the wrong piece. So I'll see if I can do this one sort of backwards facing the camera. Don't know how well I'll be able to do it. Which one do I need to do? Hang on a moment. Hang on. Yeah, this one. Well, I need to do both of them, actually, but can you see? No, you can't. You see, now that's not going on properly because the sleeper spacing is awful on these. I don't know why. I have to push this piece of rail here. Where's the camera focus? Stop looking at Emma's face. Come on. There we go. So I had to push this rail to the side very slightly to let it slide into place, basically. So now, theoretically, should be able to do that. There we go. And that's how the new junction will look. Roughly like that. Isn't that wonderful? Look at Emma's goofy face. Okay, so this one is going to need to be trimmed. I knew that anyway. So let's get that track joiner off and put some nice new fresh ones on this point here. So now I'm going to have to kind of do this mostly by eye, which is not ideal. I need to curve this in a little something like this. I don't want there to be a kink, and it's annoying because the glue is still on this piece, so it's going to be a bit tricky. Let's see if I can get you in a bit closer on this, what I'm doing here. Somewhere there should be alright, I would think, without moving the camera too much. Yeah, I can crop it in a bit more. Right. So I need to hold this in. I need to keep this point straight. And I need to align this track in a nice, without kinking it, in a nice curve coming in. It looks like it wants to kink a little bit. So I think somewhere there, maybe? I don't know. Right. Now this could break absolutely everything, and I might need to rip this piece out and relay it, which I should do anyway, really. Because it's not best practice, especially in this scale, in this gauge, to mess around with track that's already laid. Because when you come on it with wire cutters, no, with track cutters like these, you can actually completely break the rail, which of course, you know, you don't really want to be doing. But what I do want to do is remove the sleepers from here, a little something like that, so they're not in the way. Now I can come in with the track cutters. I'm working in my own shadow here because the lighting in this room is terrible. Right, so I'm going to brace the rail with my finger and then squeeze. And that's shot over there somewhere. And now I'll do the same thing again. Working in my own bloody shadow. I wish you could see my concentration face. There we go. Hold that. Nip. There we go. Right, I'm going to shut that window. So let's get a metal rail joiner on there. There we go. Get this end in first because this was tricky last time. There we are. So now I need to unstick it from there. Okay. Now, hopefully you can see my struggle. I don't have enough hands to do this. So it looks like, I mean, it doesn't matter if this end of the track here doesn't come out straight. That doesn't matter. So what I could do is make this slightly wonky at this end. So it's going to look a little something like this. Hopefully. I don't know whether I'll be able to hold it in this place. I'm going to use track pins again, obviously. And what I might do is see if I can use this glue to squish this piece of track down and then get a track pin in there. Although I don't have my track pins here, so look after that for me, guys. Okay, and I'm back. Did it move? Doesn't actually look like it did. That's fantastic news. Hooray for me. Etc. So let's push a pin through there. Might not need the pliers after all. Nope. So I'm not going to drive that one all the way in. I'm going to sort of bend and manipulate all of the rest of it first. There's a big gap in these rails up here. Wondering whether I need to file a little bit off of these ones just to get that in a little bit neater. Because of course can't go up any further. It might not be an issue at all, it might be okay. As you can see, it's coming off the end here quite wonky. If I bring the camera back out, you can see it's coming off slightly crooked, but actually not too bad. It's not looking that bad. Is that focusing?
I think so. Can I refocus there? Yeah, there we go. So you can see it's actually not looking too bad over here. So let's now get a track pin in over here. I kind of want to put more of a bend on this really, but on this piece, because it's hardly noticeable from what was there before. Still need to get rid of this piece of cork as well, of course. Of cork! Funny. God, who knew drawing on glue would be difficult? Right, okay, yeah, that's looking alright. So pop that out. So I know that I need to use this, well, I don't have to use that, I could use a newer piece. So I'm just going to have a little look down this end of the layout, off camera, you can't see, about how the alignment is looking. Yeah, it looks okay. Doesn't look too bad. Right. A little bit of a tidy up time. Where's the driver? Oh, it's there. Okay. Right. Now I need to bring the old point, whoops, back over. One that we rescued earlier on. You recall this one. Let's take that back out there. So it looks like that had already, that one looked damaged, that plastic rail joiner, but that's not to worry. Get a nice new metal one on. On this rail. Ouch. Give this a tap. Gentle love tap. Minimal ultraviolence, you may say. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky with these wires here, so I don't want to mash them down too much and risk breaking the solder off. I don't think I would do that, because my soldering skills are pretty good. I've had almost 20 years experience. Right. Let's give this a wiggle in. That was nice and simple. Okie. Probably put it here. Like that. With a little bit of space down here for an embankment, because it was a little bit steep previously. You can see my pencil marks there for where the embankment for this road was. It's a bit steep. So by doing this, we will be able to hopefully make things look a little bit more sort of gentle and relaxed. Oh, there we go, that looks nice. Nice gentle curvature on it. And then this one, we also will curve. I need to take that metal rail joiner off. And yet again, trim the old power cabling off. Put a very gentle curve. It's a little bit tricky to get nice gentle curves because this track, obviously, it's been used. So there's, you can see if I block Emma's face out, the camera might focus. You can see that I've painted the rail sides. So it's a little bit tricky to get the track to flex quite as nicely as what I would like. Ow! Glued my arm hair to the board again. Right, now I know that none of these joints are in properly. They don't need to be for the moment. And all I'm doing is getting it roughly in the right place so I can put the cork down. There. So there you go. That's the new alignment. I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera, lay the cork, and actually sort of pin the track down. I'm also probably going to wire it off camera because that'll be difficult to film. And then once you see me again, theoretically, we should have trains running. Won't that be exciting? Right. Let's get on with it, shall we?
Okay, different day, different microphone. Things are going to sound a little bit different. I do apologise. It's done. As you can see, I've got trains back on the layout. The control system's wired in properly. All the changes on the other side of the layout have been done as well. Take a peeky in the spy mirror. There we've got Tinker coming down the line there with a couple of very nice 3D printed, what are they, snail beach railways? District railways? Hopper wagons or something, I think? Can't remember. But everything's working nice and properly. The wiring is working perfectly, the points work. And the trains work too. Wonderful. Properly happy with how this turned out. The sidings are nice and curvy now. You can see there, looking so much better than what they were before. Now I should be ready to start making some changes to the scenery. That's going to be a different video. This video was long enough as it is. So that will probably be in an update video. So, as we watch Tinker come round, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. And I'll see you next time.